Jaboticaba. I don't know how adamant flying fox fruit plants thousands of Jaboticaba. I reckon he gets other people to do it for him. At about nearly 200, not that gutful. I don't know where I'm going to put them all. Doesn't rain that much in South Australia, and you've got to water them with rainwater when they're young. We're lucky we got 60,000 litres of rainwater in tanks. This is Adam's peat moss stuff he gets from Canada. Acidic sphagnum peat moss, which is pretty hard to get in Australia. This has taken me probably, I don't know, hour and a half or 2 hours so far. This is the last bag. They've been germinated on a heat mat in vermiculite. And then I mix, I don't know, 1/5 of coarse river sand, 2/5 to 3/5 of peat moss, and then 2/5 of camellia mix. So we get different stuff than Adam gets in America. America's got everything. We're only Aussies. We just get told what to do. If we don't do it, we can't have a job. But anyway, so this is our hot house. You can look around, you can see our food sort of area, and then our tree propagation area, a lot of subtropical fruit trees, the Jaboticabas on the ground, lots of different varieties of them. So there's, yeah.
Over here.
Can't see because I've got my glasses on, and I can't see unless I wear my glasses. So these are all in Dutch bucket, crack key method, and NFT salad tables. Probably about, I don't know, 4 months old. The tomato plants are 4.5 months old. The rock melon are only 6 weeks old. And these are all seedling trees, boabs and lots of different stuff. There's a lot of subtropical fruit trees over the back. So there's chocolate sapote, and there's gramachama, Luke's Garcinias and things like that. Achacherus, abiyus, Suriname cherries, avocados, sapotes, quaimucks and Burdekin plums and bananas, and what else is there? What's that thing?
Acerola.
That's right, it's an acerola, and there's imbi there, and a whole heap of Jaboticaba. The Jaboticaba have got to be separate because they don't like the tap water. Even though it's mostly rainwater, I still don't chance it. I just give them 100% rainwater. There's Rollinia and custard apples in here that have to go outside because it's too hot in here for custard apples. Too humid for them. But even South Australia, you have to put shade over the trees because the sun is so intense here, they burn. And they, the moment you put shade across the top of them, they just start going for it, which we found out the other day. It's all right in winter, but now we're in sort of spring going into summer, if you call it that. And yeah, had to put 50% over the top of them to stop them, and the moment they get 50%, you can see what the sun does to the bananas. It just bleaches them. 50%, 2 weeks, this is how much growth you get. So the acerola's got fruit on it, the Suriname cherry's got fruit on it. There's other things there, peanut butter fruit, it's got flowers on it. The skinnistil's there. So that's a zill, and this variety here is a black beauty. So the zill's a seedling, the black beauties are grafted. The black beauties are still got some fruit on it, but mostly it's fruited. And we've got argan trees down here, quite a rare tree. There's only 4 in South Australia, you can only find 1. So these are argan trees, African boabs and albetias and stuff like that, and Australian boabs, other Australian natives and carobs and lucerne trees, and yeah. Video. Molly suffers from allergies, so they're reaping their fields out here at the moment. So Molly's coughing and spluttering and nose is running, and so it's a lot of fun. So I'll go to plant these Jaboticabas, get their roots facing down.
Love.
And yeah, probably got about 30 more to go, or 40. No, probably about 20. Here's a good one. They're polyembryonic, so they quite often they come. You get 4 or 5 plants out of one seed. Maybe not as many as 5, but I suppose sometimes you would. So whoever, I've just got to work out where I'm going to put them, where they don't get sprayed by the sprinklers. It's climate controlled hothouse. It's got misters, netafim misters, and just pop-ups on risers. And the control unit comes from California because there was nothing in South Australia that I could use. I'm sure there is, but no one could tell me. So I found one from California, which they had in Australia, and I bought that. So there's no Australian stuff, apparently. Yeah, Jaboticaba. Don't want to plant them too deep. Just top it up. Some of these potting mixes have got a lot of crap in them. So you just got to throw out the large bits. When you're potting up big plants, I suppose it doesn't matter, but probably wouldn't even matter with these Jaboticabas. You see how much they were probably in there for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 weeks on a heat mat.
2.5.
2.5 on a heat mat inside, just in perlite with, I don't know, probably the comparable amount of weight as the perlite in the bag. I didn't weigh it, I just put it in. 2.5 weeks later, yeah. Two and a half weeks later, and 150 sprouted Jaboticaba seeds. Wasn't sort of expecting 150 to sprout, but there's probably more than that. So 160 or 170 by the time you allow for the. Sometimes the seeds break in half and both grow. Like I said, they're polyembryonic. They grow more than one, and they grow close to the type of the mother plant. So you can see these. This is the main shoot. You can tell it's the main shoot. It's lighter coloured, the roots. You can see the roots of the feeder hairs off the side. So you just got to make sure you get the right direction in them. Which, if you watch Adam Safran's videos from Five Fox Fruits, he shows you. With his crazy chickens. I got crazy chickens too, but they're not coming in here. And crazy llamas and crazy alpacas and crazy goats, and they're not coming in here. So I just poke a hole in the middle. Pretty straightforward. Feed the root down, squashing around it gently, and top up around over the top of the seed, leaving the shoot out. You can see how full on these are. They germinate so small, you know. I had them in there 5 times smaller than that. They look like little hairs. So you gotta be sort of a bit gentle with them. So usually we just make videos of our animals. Even though we're Newbie Rumen Nursery, we do a lot of work in here and in our backyard as we've bought this property, and probably planted about 500 trees because it was just an open paddock where they grew wheat, and basically wheat. They wouldn't have grown much else. Maybe ran sheep on. So we came here and we had to plant a lot of trees. We planted heaps of trees. We had to buy heaps of mulch because it gets so dry out here in the mid-north of where we live. It's basically the desert. It's not uncommon to have temperature here that's 50, 55 degrees, and then you get a mix of that with 40, 50 km/h winds, and your trees don't last long unless you put at least 300 millimeters of bark mulch around and put them on irrigation and constantly work them. So the first year it's a bit of work trying to get the trees to establish. But after a year or two they're alright. This year's been excellent because it's been a bit cooler and we've had a lot more rain. So most of our trees we planted in sort of in autumn, fall in America I suppose they call it. We planted most of our trees then, and the rain's done most of it. We still had the water. So when we water, we probably go through it takes me about 8 hours to water most of our trees, even though we have got irrigation. We still have a fair few trees that aren't on irrigation I give about 100 litres each. So usually I go through about, I don't know, 2,500 litres of water in that time. And it takes me a good 8 hours, so I'm outside all day watering trees, which is fun because I get to see snakes and lizards and rainbow bee eaters and wedge-tailed eagles and blue tongues and sleepy lizards running around everywhere, and brown snakes. But standing up or kneeling down and squatting down isn't fun for 8 hours. And basically you have to walk probably, I don't know, 3/4 of a kilometre to water all our trees, and drag a hose that's about, I don't know, 300 metres long. Which can get a little bit monotonous when you got weeds and it gets tangled around the weeds and you have to walk back 300 metres to untangle it, to walk back to go and water the tree. So I just listen to music and put a timer on, or I wait for the well around the trees to fill up a few times and I let it drain away, and then I fill it up again so it's ponding, and then I walk away. But thankfully we haven't had to worry about it this year so much because we've had a considerate amount of rain. Not heaps, we get considerate amount of rain in South Australia, is like 20, 30, 40 millimetres, where some people come from, you know, it's like 500 millimetres. So we certainly don't get the amount of rain that they get in the tropics and in other parts of America and that. So we get, 20 millimetres, that much over a square metre. That's all.
Yep.
It's another little tiny Jaboticaba. I've got a funny feeling that all of these things are going to grow. They're just going to take off in these pots. I'm going to have 200 Jaboticaba. I'm running out of room. I'll be alright here for the night, and then I'll have to move them tomorrow because it'll get too hot here. I don't know can't remember what the temperature's going to be tomorrow. It's supposed to be getting rain again, so we've got a shearer coming tomorrow to shear alpacas and our llamas, so maybe we could do a video on that. Put that on there for everyone to watch. And I hope no one just leaves dislikes because they just feel like it. Because there's really no talking. It's the first time I've really talked. So I don't know what you could dislike about a llama or a goat or a alpaca or a blue-fronted Amazon or a hothouse or anything like that. But anyway, you do what you do. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, and Molly can make a video tomorrow about the with the llamas and the alpacas getting shorn, because I want to get this done so I can go and sit down. I've had a gut full of planting Jaboticabas. Nice glasses, hey, I'll take my glasses so I look normal. There you go.